Hey, so congratulations, Andy Reid. Man, am I happy for the Chiefs. I really am. Look, I called the Niners to win this. The Niners should have. They really should have. But the Chiefs battled back. Now, looking over some notes here, um, 10-10 at halftime. I did a halftime report, so go back to that for my opinions on the half. Um, 49ers start the half with another field goal drive, not getting in for a touchdown. That obviously comes back to bite them. Now, I'll never understand why teams ever decide that going away from your own offensive identity is a good thing. The moment a defense knows you're just going to pass, you lose when the team you're facing has a good secondary and a good pass rush. That's what happened here. The moment was too big for Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo. Neither were ready to just stick to what they do best: run the ball and play action pass off the run. In that last drive for the 49ers, you had batted pass, a near interception. You knew you needed a creative run in the first two plays, and very quickly, bang, bang, you're on third down. That's not their game. Jimmy overthrows Sanders for a bomb down the middle. Now, mind you, that was not necessarily an expected play call, and yes, he broke open, but just barely. And man, did Jimmy overthrow him. I don't know how much practice time they have on that particular route, but you have to think that's when you have to make that play. So Jimmy G really throws the game away on that play, because he never ends up, getting the ball away the next play. He gets sacked. He should have never even gotten the snap off. The play clock was at 0. So instead of a sack, it should have been a 5-yard penalty and a replay. But either way, they didn't use any timeouts. They didn't run the ball. They had plenty of time, and they bricked it. Okay? They went too open, too pass happy, too early. Yeah. Congratulations, Chiefs. You put them in that situation. Andy Reid finally got his by playing the game that's always beaten him. Defense. He finally needed enough defense to win a game. His offense puts them in that position, playing from behind, playing with pressure. And when you put pressure on a coach and a quarterback, you can then apply pressure on the field. So this is mental pressure we're talking about. Just being behind, seeing the clock under 2 minutes, forgetting that you have 3 timeouts in your pocket, and the only reason your pass game is effective is your run game. The moment it was third down, instead of that bomb down the middle, they should have called a very creative run. They still had 2 downs to work with. They could have made it a shorter, easier play. So, look, hindsight's 2020. I get it. But creative play calling and a balanced attack off the run is what got you there. Andy Reid put a young coach and a young quarterback in a situation where their thought process was going to be obvious to his team. Congrats, Andy Reid. You finally won the big one. the Chiefs have had one of the most talented teams for such a long time. And to finally hit home after all those years in Philadelphia before it, this has got to mean so much to Andy Reid. And man, does he deserve it. Because he's had some crap happen off the field. That man has not had a good go of it in life the last decade and a half. But yeah, he's in a good place now. Shit. All that sacrifice that creates that horrible family life. Yeah, finally paid off. So the Chiefs used their high-powered offense to finally dig themselves out and get back in this game, create enough pressure on Shanahan and Garoppolo, the last few drives, really, to force them out of their game plan. The moment it was 20-17, you knew it was the Chiefs' momentum all the way. And it shouldn't have been. It should not have been. The 49ers had the lead. And they had the perfect game plan to that point, getting them to a 20-10. How you can let a team that is still behind you then dictate the pace. That is purely a leadership and coaching position that falls squarely on Garoppolo and on Shanahan. Both are young. Both are young. All right? They'll have more opportunities. But they have to not get snake bit by this. All right? They have to not focus on the last 5 minutes or so of the game and focus on the rest of it. Because the 49ers, by all rights, should have won this game. But the Chiefs held out. They stuck to who they were. They kept to being their comfortable selves. So when the pressure's on, they were still able to relax into this win. Because that's what it's about. It's about being confident enough in those positions to do things the way that got you there, while still being creative. That's the caveat that people forget. You can't be predictable, but you have to rely on what got you there. And what got the Chiefs there was the big play. This game changed on a long third down from Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes had his perfect quarterback Super Bowl moment. It was in the third quarter. It was the touchdown drive that got them to 20-17. Mahomes narrowly avoids going 3 and out. And he gets that deep play to Hill. Now Hill, the play before, trapped the ball on what looked like a first down. So they could have lost momentum there. They go right back to him. His speed creates what's eventually single coverage. So they have 2 guys devoted to him. But because he's running across the field, 2 guys, it doesn't matter who it is, okay? Nobody can keep track of him. So it's like they're passing him off in a zone. That's what speed does in double coverage. You create single coverage with space. Good play callers understand that. It's not over the top in the corner, because that's what they're protecting against. All right? It's across the field you have to go. Being able to convince a guy with speed to go across the field is a trick usually, but Because Hill goes across the middle, the first guy can never keep up with him, ever. And the second guy then is in single coverage. So you have single coverage against a safety when you send Tyreek Hill on a post. That is sophisticated play calling by letting it be simple. Understand your strengths. Understand what you do that makes you special. And the Chiefs do know what Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce bring to the table, because you saw that in their offense. They relied heavily on those two. And they both delivered. Sammy Watkins had some big moments too. Don't get me wrong, but Sammy Watkins' openings are created by Hill and Kelce. You cannot possibly defend against this offense all game long if they stick to exactly what they do. The thought process is eventually you can get a team out of their game plan by creating offensive pressure, by getting a lead on them. But the Chiefs' offense is exactly what people do when they get down. That's the big mental trick here that they're playing on you. That's all it is. They're never out of it because their entire offense is exactly what people do when they're in desperation mode. So they're used to it. It's not big pressure. It's what they do every single fucking play. Okay? Yeah, now that I've, sworn enough, I'm wondering if this new encoder thing that YouTube's making me use for lives is some sort of way to create a delay where they can filter the content better. Maybe it's useful. Maybe they'll use it to stop people from watching somebody get their brains blown out in a terrorist video or some shit. But to me, it just seems like censorship is coming into play. Either they're being sued by people and they want to put, whatever lawsuit would come about squarely on the content creator, or they honestly do want a delay to keep things like these terrorist videos from getting out there. If that's how they use it, great. But I'm just waiting for them to turn it into something ugly, and everybody's just going to go over to Twitch. Anyways, I loved this game. I loved this game. Tied at the half. At one point, the 49ers are up by 10 points, and it really looks like the Chiefs are done. A couple of miracle plays by Mahomes keeps this team's energy up. And that's the big, big, big part of his game. It's leadership through being good in the big moments. This man just put the team on his back, and when everybody was expecting them to fold, he pulls a couple of miracle plays out of his asshole, all right? This guy ran for first downs. He threw perfect passes to Watkins to get the energy back up for this team. A pass interference to Kelce in the end zone where the frickin' 49ers safety jumps up and rubs his ball sack on the dude before the frickin' ball gets there. Quite literally, watch it, okay? It's like he's trying to lean back like it's not him doing any sort of thing for pass interference at all. You know how the DBs do it, like, oh, my hands are out here, so it doesn't matter what my body's doing. Well, he does that when he's in midair. So at one point, like, he's leading like crotch first, and it hits freaking Kelsey square in the chest. Like you're just looking at it in slow motion. Like, can he get it to the helmet range? No, it hits him in the chest. But seriously, because of the lean back, it's totally ball sack first into the dude. Funniest pass interference ever. But either way, the next play is a touchdown to Kelsey. That's the game. All right. That drive to catch up a bit and get to 20-17. That was the most important drive of the game. It's where Patrick Mahomes showed up biggest. It's where, there was no Tyreek Hill. There was no Travis Kelce early on in that drive. Okay? It was all Mahomes just going out there, big dick swinging, and seriously taking this team to the fucking promised land. All right? You have something special in Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City. And as a Buffalo Bills fan, I am fucking jealous. I really am. I'm a student of the draft and of history. And I've said for a very, very long time, I'm not going to judge Josh Allen against the other people in his draft class. I'm not going to do it. I don't care if he's better than Baker Mayfield. I don't care if he's better than Lamar Jackson. I care about the fact that the Bills traded away the pick that was used to select Patrick Mahomes in order to wait until the next year to draft their quarterback, because they did not believe in quarterbacks in that draft class. Now, I understand not believing in Mitchell Trubisky, who was the first overall draft pick. No, second. Yeah. A first quarterback taken. But seriously, Mahomes and Watson both have been fantastic. And the Mahomes pick was yours. It was in your hands, Bills fans. Trade it away, pick up Josh Allen. Okay, I get it. Whatever. You wanted your guy, but now he's going to be judged against the guy you passed over to get him. So, Mahomes was an MVP in his second season, and now he's a Super Bowl champion in his third. We may be witnessing the beginning of the career of the best quarterback in the history of the league. And I understand that you can tell me, look, pump the fucking brakes on that big guy. I get it, all right? But it is not since Marino that I have seen anything like Patrick Mahomes coming into the league, lighting it on fire this early with this up-tempo style offense. Now, is Andy Reid Don Shula? Maybe. Honestly. He's got to go on a tear and win some more freaking Super Bowls, but this guy's got a huge coaching tree and a fantastic offense, and it finally hits pay dirt. If he finishes his coaching career with at least 2 more Super Bowl wins, which he easily can do with Patrick Mahomes, if he finishes his career with at least 3 Super Bowl victories, we're going to start looking at Andy Reid as one of the best coaches of all time. That's what they can do. I'm not saying that that's what they're going to do, okay? I'm sure Lamar Jackson is going to have his say next year. Sure of it. I'm sure Deshaun Watson is going to have his say next year. So, Harbaugh might be on his way to another Super Bowl. And then you're talking about him in some rarefied air. I don't think he's on the level Andy Reid is, though. Andy Reid is always in the playoffs. He is always in the championship games of the playoffs. And he's been to the Super Bowl a few times now. He's finally won one. I'm so happy for him. All right, look, I'm circling back to the Andy Reid thing. I'm sorry I'm not focused too much on the actual back and forth specific plays, but this was very much a vibe and an energy sort of thing in the second half. Specific plays don't really mean much. It's just taking the pulse of the game. You can figure what's going on. I mean, they had pre-snap penalties from both teams at exactly the kind of times you would expect them to happen. These pre-snap penalties happen when your team has the pressure on. That's leadership, that's coaching, but that's also practice, how you practice. Coaches can bring officials into practice more often. And even if you just hire like the local college or the local high school guys, just have somebody there that's going to be tough on your guys to make things a little more automatic in big pressure moments. There's a lot of things you can do. But the pre-snap penalties that the 49ers were getting late in the game all ended up in big pressure moments and put them in bad positions. They gave away the momentum at 20-17. And the Chiefs never looked back. And the 49ers never knew what hit them. Mahomes on 3rd and 16 wins the game. Makes you think of that Philly play. 4th and 4th and 26 that Philly got and ends up getting them into the Super Bowl. But yeah. Reed had a quarterback that could get them to the Super Bowl and not win it in Donovan McNabb. Now he's got a quarterback that can win it. Let's see what he can do. Let's see what Reed can do. Because Belichick, my ass, he's had Tom Brady. Tom Brady retires, which everybody thought he was going to. Turns out he was just freaking softballing in his shitty commercial from earlier in the game. But yeah, Tom Brady, greatest quarterback in the history of the freaking game. You have him. It's not a mystical feat that you win 6 titles. It isn't. He's got some really, 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 really good play design. He's got some really good off-season habits. He manages his staff very well. I get it. None of those things are things that you can't say about Andy Reid. None of them. What you can say is Andy Reid hasn't had Tom Brady. That's it. So now that he's got Mahomes, we'll see what Andy can do. Again, guys, I'm really happy for the Chiefs and the Chiefs fans. You guys have deserved it for a while. It's first time back to the Super Bowl in over 50 years. And yeah, you needed this one. Always happy when an old AFL team wins the big one. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoy me talking football, I do pregame videos during the season, postgame videos during the season, and through the playoffs, obviously. Off-season program, I am going to be doing a lot of free agency stuff, a lot of pre-draft stuff, post-draft and post-free agency for all teams. I'm probably going to take a break in the preseason. So, the next few months, we got some more football content coming. And then there'll be a break until the fantasy football draft season. So we can do draft primers. And then back in the next season. So there will be some other content, other things that I'm doing to keep myself busy. I play in pool leagues, so probably my practice sessions I'll be putting up as well as some video game content. But yeah, we'll get back into football on schedule midway through the preseason. But there'll be plenty of pre-draft and pre-free agency, post-draft and post-free agency content up until then. So like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. We'll see you in a few days. Thanks, guys.